Action Comics number 19, written by Andy Diggle, art by Tony S. Daniel. So, Grant Morrison finished his run last issue. Brand new team, brand new story. Kind of feels like closer to what's going on in Superman, but we open up in Karak, where it's 1 year ago. There's some thing going on, some upheaval politically, and Lois and Clark, along with a bunch of other reporters, are just chilling out in a bar trying to get stories. Lois already has one. She's typing it up on her phone, and she's sending it off to the Daily Planet. And she's like, yep, that one's going to get me a Pulitzer. And she kind of starts flirting with Clark here. Mind you, this is a whole year ago, so it's possible he wasn't dating Wonder Woman at this point, but he's saying, yeah, Smallville, you got something about you. I don't know what it is. Maybe you just lose the Harry Potter glasses. And he starts to take them off when all of a sudden this kid comes in with a message for Clark saying, oh, this is your contact. You need to deal with this. And so Clark has to run out. And then we see another man come up and say like, oh, can I have a drink with you, Miss Lane? And turns out this is John Carroll, who I believe is the guy that Lois was seeing in Superman. So I guess this is a prologue or something. I don't know. Regardless, Superman turns into his outfit. He gets his nanite armor or whatever, and he flies off. And it turns out that there are a shipping container that is smuggling in illegal weapons. So he x-rays it, can't find anything, when all of a sudden this 2 or 3 giant mechs explode out of the shipping container. And he's like, all right, well, I won't beat you up too bad if you power down and tell me who's responsible. And this guy inside starts firing off missiles and crap, which seems to affect Superman. And he's like, well, he threw the first punch. I'm just going to do what I got to do now. And so he comes up and blasts right through the mech, takes the guy out of the cockpit, and is like, oh, you're an American. What are you doing here? And who sent you? And the guy sputters out like, oh, but look behind you. Turns out there's another mech firing off a whole bunch of missiles at it. Or at them, I should say. And Superman heat visions them all, takes them all out. And they use a sonic weapon to blast Superman down into the ocean nearby. He's like, well, that kind of hurt. But then he gets up out of the water and just takes the whole mech and just flips it on its head. And he's like, all right, well, who are you? What are you doing here? And who sent you? And as somebody gets out of the cockpit, it looks to be Jimmy Olsen. And Superman's like, what? He didn't look like that a sec. Why does he look like Superman, or why does he look like Jimmy Olsen now? And then all of a sudden, Jimmy just starts exploding from the inside. And Superman's like, somebody didn't want him to talk. I wonder who. And also, I'm positive that's not Jimmy Olsen. So then we cut over to Lex Luthor, who is talking to his therapist. And his therapist is like super nervous and scared. And Lex is like, now, doctor, I hired you because you've worked with like presidents and dictators and like really important people. You're the best there is. So tell me what you think of me, and please stop beating around the bush. And she's like, you're a psychopath. You are megalomaniacal, and you are going to basically be the most dangerous man on the planet. And she's like, okay, well, thank you for saying that. But here's the thing. I am all those things, and I don't care. So I just need the world to change for me, because I'm not going to bend down for the world. And he's like, all right, well, take some time, think about it some more. See you next week. And she's like, maybe then you'll set me free. And he's like, yeah, maybe then I'll set you free. Sure. So at that point, he walks out and says, keep an eye on her. She's probably going to commit suicide or something within the next few days. Also, how'd the Superman thing go? And he's like, oh, our mechs were destroyed. It was a complete failure. And he's like, not a complete failure. Turns out the missiles they were firing had an itty-bitty little microscopic bit of machinery in them made of kryptonite that made it into Superman's body, and therefore they have Superman's DNA on file. And so he's just going to wait, and then he's going to mess with Superman's DNA when it's most inconvenient. So that was all a year ago. 3 weeks later, after a year ago, so 49 weeks ago, Superman's just flying over the city, They activate the machine, and all of a sudden Superman's hand is in intense pain. He falls down out of the sky. Everyone's like, Superman, you cool? Everything great? I didn't see anything hit you. And he's like, keep back, I don't know what's going on. And he looks down at his hand, and it starts transforming into this grotesque looking monster hand. And he's like, oh no, it's spreading. And that's the issue. Okay. Very different from what Grant Morrison was doing. Like, polar opposite of what it was doing. I'm wondering why this was set a year ago. I can't figure out any reason as of yet as to why it needs to be set a whole year ago. Unless we're still just pretending this is Superman's quote-unquote origin story, which, is it? Is it really? Yeah, no, it's an okay story. I can't find anything to really fault about it, but it's definitely just a first issue of like, oh, we're doing these big bombastic things and we're setting up mysteries. It's not great on actual storytelling, and the mysteries it's setting up, I'm like, okay, I guess. It's not even a mystery. They explained Lex did this thing, and here's how he did it. The mystery of it is, what precisely is he doing? Is he turning Superman into a monster? Is he... I don't know. I genuinely, I don't know what the story is moving forward here, but it's not as big enough of a mystery that I really care either. Because clearly Superman's just not going to spend the next 40 issues of the New 52 being a monster. Like, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not quite catching me yet. I'm waiting for something that's actually really interesting in this, and it's just not with this issue. But it's only one. It has a lot of time to find its footing. So art-wise, I thought it was good. I thought it looked pretty good throughout. Very stylized art. Tony S. Daniel did a great job. But writing-wise, it's just, okay, yeah, that's a thing that happened. What else you got? So I'm going to give this one I'm going to give it a 7, just a flat 7. And most of that, like anything above a 6.5 is strictly because of the art. It's rating-wise, it's probably closer to a 6. But first issue, I'll give it the 6.5 on rating, 7 for the art.